boys' research was looking at whether there was any difference between boys and girls' preferences in the look of a computer program which would enhance their learning. So in order to do this study, she chose 4 schools in Estonia, and the schools gave different children perspective, because they came from a rural school and a large inner city school and 2 other town schools. During this research, she looked at the way that children managed the keyboard and the mouse, and the look of the screen when they were performing. So during the pre-test, she took their scores, and then after they had used this computer program, she called it a drill, and it looked to me as if it was like a multiple choice style of question and answer to find out their knowledge and understanding. And she found that boys in particular preferred graphics, and they liked some sound. Girls preferred less movement about the screen, and they did like the graphics, but they really preferred to have some text as well. The finding of the research really showed that it really didn't make much difference to the boys' or the girls' performance, but because of the way that boys seem to interact with the screen, she said that girls may need to have the preference in the style of the program that was being used. And for this, it seemed to be that, as I said just now, graphics with some text, not so much elaboration on the screen, more of pale colours, and interestingly just very simple line drawings, not any animation or 3D effects, because this seemed to detract from the learning. It was possibly the enjoyment was within the look of the screen, but to improve learning, it seemed to be just simple drawings that were the best. The manoeuvring to get to the program had to be, or was advised to be, limited, because the less times the children had to use the keyboard and the less times they had to click with the mouse seemed to enhance their performance, because that's what we're looking at. And so drop-down menus with few choices was the preferred option. To reward the children with good answers had to be limited, and it was advised that there was a random approach to this, not to give a whoopee and praise for every good answer, just sometimes. And the other thing with this was that boys performed better when the answers that they were given, if they were incorrect, these ones would be eliminated or hidden. Now, I didn't see an example of the screen, so I don't know if she meant shadowed, where they could see through that shade, so I'm not quite sure about that. But to cut out the options was the best.
The paper that I looked at was a discussion paper by 3 researchers from the University of Tunka in Malaysia, and what they were discussing was the usage or lack of usage of multimedia in education. They started off by discussing how people in the past used to access information through standard textbooks, and argued that the rather linear approach of a textbook could be superseded and much improved by using ICT, from earlier CD-ROMs where we had graphics, music, animations and so on. They also discussed the benefits of adopting some of the processes and techniques in educational games. They move on to looking at different types of multimedia, ranging from virtual reality to mixed modes to cooperative working. They argue the benefits of maybe using the web, as web resources can be changed very quickly at relatively low costs compared to designing a game or a CD-ROM. And then towards the end they question why the use of multimedia hasn't been taken up as much in education as it might be. So that is the gist of the paper, and they give some reasons why multimedia is still not being fully implemented in education?
As a primary teacher, I was interested in looking at how ICT might impact on the learning and teaching experiences of primary science in our classrooms. And the chapter on ICT was written by Anne Coulter, who is the head of educational development at the University of Liverpool. And really what she was doing in this chapter is outlining the ways in which teachers use ICT in their planning and in the preparation of their work, and also how ICT can support the pupils' learning, and investigating the potential and increasing the way that the learning experiences for children are enhanced by ICT. First of all, the chapter considers the variety of ways that teachers might use ICT to help plan and prepare their lessons, and how this enhances the learning experiences for the pupils. From the outset, Anne emphasises that ICT is only one aspect of delivering a quality experience to the children, and that it must be an integral part of any other science learning experiences that you have. ICT can be used in the planning and preparation, identifying appropriate resources to use, and in delivering a quality experience. And she also goes on to suggest that teachers can expand their own knowledge and skills and communicate with other practitioners through the means of virtual learning centres, and obviously in Scotland we have Glow that we can use, which is an excellent resource for science materials for use in the classroom. There are 3 case studies in the chapter which illustrate ways in which ICT has been used to allow teachers and their pupils to communicate with practitioners in classes in other areas of the world, and how this has enhanced the learning experience for the pupils. And then all of this is summarised by a very useful table which lists a variety of resources, their functions, and examples of how these things might be used in the classroom. In conclusion, Anne goes on to say that in this digital age where things are moving at such a pace, that teachers, it's our obligation to keep abreast of developments in ICT so that we can best use that to enhance what we deliver to our pupils, and that we have a responsibility also to make sure that our pupils have the knowledge and skills to be able to use ICT to support their learning in science.
So yours was more to do with the gender differences. Yours was more to do with the type of...
That's my interpretation, I think.
Yeah, and yours is more to do with where it fits within the overall scheme of activities that are available. In terms of those 3 areas, where do you think we're at now, and where do you think we need to be for ICT to be used more effectively in schools?